Well, hello. Today it's time for another Survivor pen. We're going to revisit a pen I last did a show on back in September 13th of 2017. This is the Sailor 1911 Realo, which is Sailor's only piston pen. Every other pen that Sailor sells, as far as I know, is filled by a cartridge converter system. So this makes it unique in its lineup, especially since some, not me, I've never had a problem with them, but some do complain about the converters that are inside the Sailor pens. So let's find out what I think all these years later. Hello, I want to welcome you to a review of the Sailor 1911 Realo. Sailor is a brand over the years, I've not paid much attention to, but for some reason, kind of between last fall and this spring, I ended up picking up 2 Sailor pens and a few Sailor inks. And this is one of those pens that I had picked up. Now, what makes this one different from a lot of the Sailors, I've noticed that most Sailors seem to be sold as cartridge converter pens. As you might guess from the ink window here, this is not a cartridge converter pen, this is a piston fill pen. So this is the Sailor 1911 Realo. So unlike any Sailor, of course you'll have the ink window is the first obvious thing. If we look above the ink window, that is bright. So above the ink window we have 1911 Sailor, Japan, founded 1911. So that's, if piece of trivia, that's where the 1911 with Sailor comes from. Here's the piston turning knob. It actually is a piston turning knob, but you'll see this feature on a lot of Sailor pens. It just actually does something here. I would demonstrate, but it actually has ink in it. A fairly straightforward clip. Decent plastic that it's made out of. Open it up. I don't know if that's dirt or whatever, but some pens seem to do that in the threads, some don't. So here you see it's a 21 karat nib. I actually had a viewer ask me if that made it more fragile, and I had to admit that, well, I don't know. I don't think so. I haven't changed how I write with this pen compared to others, but it is a 21 karat, which, most fountain pens that use gold nibs, it's either going to be 14 karat or 18 karat. So you'll see an HB, which means hard broad. And then the feed, which I believe is just plastic. So that's pretty much it for the pen. It sure doesn't look like a broad, but be that as it may, let's see how it writes. The ink in this pen right now is Noodler's Green Cactus Eel. It's supposed to be a lubricating ink. It's an okay color of green. I'm not, a Noodler's fanboy or anything. Is this a flex nib? I don't believe in pushing pens. I've seen my pens in the hands of people that are more pushy. I'm just like, nope. But yeah, not a lot of flex. Probably a little line variation in it, but wetness and flow. There's feedback, by the way, as it writes. Not amazing, not objectionable, but you can see, it puts out a decent amount of ink. A smear test. Not one of my wettest pens at all, even slightly. Reverse writing. For those of you who are into that kind of thing. I've got some viewers who are into this kind of thing. By the way, the color on this ink on the screen looks horrible, so I don't know if it's very accurate. We'll find out when I edit. Feels about the same, but definitely an extra fine. So you get what looks like a medium to my eye, regular writing, and then it goes to extra fine. Of course, it's a Japanese pen, and the Japanese pens just tend to be finer than the Western equivalents. I didn't do this test back in the day, but let's do the Peer Gustafson, the world famous Peer Gustafson test. Disappointed to say that I did see one or two skips there. Let's just be real. The first one on this little loop here I thought might have been my fault, but then some of these some of these vertical strokes having them, yeah, that wasn't me. All right, and since it is a survivor pen, let's close this with a quote from John W. Gardner. I was going to look up who he was, and I forgot, but we'll just go with the quote and hope he's not a horrible person. Away then. Now, I've always heard good things about Sailor nibs. Like I said, I'm not knowledgeable or experienced with the Sailor world, so I don't know a lot about them. But I've always heard good things about their nibs, and I know they have some very cool, very interesting nibs out there that would be fun to try, perhaps not to buy. That said, nice as this pen is, I didn't see where the nib was anything special. In fact, it was surprisingly, even for a Japanese broad, it was surprisingly narrow. But I like the pen a lot. It's kind of an expensive pen, but I enjoy it. I don't regret paying for what I paid for it. If I lost it, I would be really, really sad. What a loud engine you have. I would be really, really sad, but I wouldn't be rushing out to go buy a new one either. So, but I like having it. I'm very glad I have it. So that was the Sailor 1911 Realo. One thing we'll get out of the way right away before I talk into my current feelings. No pocket on the shirt, but it slipped over my t-shirt quite easily. So, perfectly good pen. Let's make that clear. It feels well made. The piston works well. It writes fine. But it just leaves me cold. I don't have any particular attachment to it. For years it has wavered back and forth between the, let's put it in these ones I want to sell/trade. But it is their only piston pen. Well, truth is, I'm not selling the pen. I'm trading it. So, I won't tell you what I'm trading it for because somebody's going to tell me either that I got cheated or the other person got cheated or something. But I am trading it. We both feel that it's a worthwhile trade, so I am happy to do it. And I'm happy to have it go to a home where the Sailor is appreciated. This person owns multiple Sailors, so I'm very happy about that. As far as me, not a bad pen, not objectionable at all, so I don't feel guilty trading it. I just don't care about it a whole lot. So you get those pens. I found more and more that my leaning is toward vintage pens, and so what I'm getting is actually a vintage pen, and so I think we'll both be much happier with the pens we're getting. I just can't get excited about this pen, and I can recommend it as a good one. What more can I say? So anyway, I'm going to try to remember to put in the video description a few links, because I did some rodeos. I don't remember how many rodeos I did comparing this pen to other pens, but I did compare it to a few peers, so I'm going to put those in the video description as well. And you can make up your own mind. I have one Sailor pen that I absolutely love, but yeah, that's been my feeling. Otherwise, there was a time when a particular Sailor was on my wish list. It isn't anymore. I would like to try some of their more exotic nibs, but I'm okay if I don't. I think they make quality pens. They're just not for me. And that personal liking is something you have to remember anytime you watch any of us who talks about pens. We all have those personal things we don't even know how to put into words that make us like a pen or dislike a pen. And I'm a science guy. My background is physics, and I don't like squishy feelings type of stuff. I want measurable, but I can't measure it. It's just something about the pen that leaves me cold. So, anyway, hope that was interesting. Hope it was useful. And by now, I'm sure that the pen is in its new home and hopefully being enjoyed. So I want to thank you for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.